For over 40 years, Cuba has been producing some coins specifically for tourists. The ones that they have made since the 1990s are a little bit earlier to find, but this is the design of their INTUR coins from the 1980s. This one specifically from 1981. INTUR essentially translates to Institute National of TUR Tourism. That's how they would, in their language, how it would be pronounced. But this is a Cinco, 5 centavos. There are two versions of this coin. This is the thin 5. There's another one that's a thick 5, but all of the letters on here would be a little bit thicker. And it also features a palm tree. And all of the Inter coins from the 80s look pretty much like this one on this side, except would have a different denomination on it. But when we flip it over, we see where it actually spells out the Instituto Nacional de Turismo, Cuba, 1981. And specifically, the shell on here is called a polyamide snail shell. There's also some coin rotation and metal rotation. So this one has the metal rotation, whereas others would have the coin rotation. We'll flip it up that way. And then, like I said, these are called the visitor coinage. So there were some coins that were specifically for the people who lived there, but these were to be used by the visitors to Cuba. So always pick this up every time I find one in a foreign bin. Welcome back to my channel. I collect foreign coins, and I like to make videos of what I find at different shows. This is a coin lot that I picked up from the November 2024 Tennessee State Numismatic Show in Chattanooga. This was a dealer that I'd never seen before. He had a 4 for $1 bin, but I have a couple of carded coins that I'm going to save for the very end. Our next coin is going to be a half franc from Switzerland. These are always worth it in foreign exchange value if you can buy it for 25 American cents, because the Swiss franc is stronger than the United States dollar. This specific one is the half franc from 1968. This coin was a lot of the Switzerland circulating coins essentially have the same design since 1875. This coin is still produced today, and it was made out of silver until 1967. That would have been catalog KM23, but this is KM23A.1 because in 1968 they started to make it out of copper nickel, and the .1 means that there are 22 stars on here for the 22, I think they're called cantons, not states or provinces, anything like that, but cantons. And then later on, since then, there's a 23rd star for the 23rd canton. So there is, that would be the differences. So this one is KM23A.1 with 22 stars. Flip back to this side, and there is a B mint mark at the bottom, meaning it was produced in Bern, Switzerland. There is a version of this coin that is missing the B. That was made in London. It's not particularly rare. However, at the time, people went around and told stories that that one was a rare mistake, that you should buy it because it's worth a lot more. No, it was just made in another country. And so that was a lie that people told back then. Next, we're going to move to a couple of coins from Liberia. This one's a little bit well worn, but this is a country I used to find a lot easier than I do these days. When I started off about 20 years ago, it seemed easier to find Liberian coins then, but we see this on the obverse of a lot of coins. We flip it over. It's going to say 10 cents as I drop it, and it didn't roll far. So this is a 10 cents coin from 1970. Kind of like the last one that we looked at from Switzerland. At one time, this was made out of silver from 1960 to 61. And so the catalog number is 15A.2. So when it was 15, it was silver. When it was 15A, it was copper nickel. Then it was got the .1 because originally it was 2.1 grams in 1966. But this is .2 version of the coin, which was a reduced weight of 1.8 grams, made from 68 to 1987. Then we have the 1-cent coin. This one is going to feature an elephant. $1, 1975. The love of liberty brought us here. I remember when they taught the history of Liberia when I was in school. So I always thought it was neat to find coins from Liberia. See the sailboat and the palm tree. This one's catalog KM13. From Brazil's hyperinflation days from 1993, we have the 1,000 Cruzeiros. This one's at catalog KM626. And it features an Acara fish. So the Brazilian Cruzeiro system lasted from 1990 until 1993, but the coins they made in 92 and 93, which were higher denominations, featured animals. Hadn't found this 20 pesos from Colombia in a while. This one is from 1987. It's catalog number 271. This one features Poporo Cambaya, which was apparently a ceremonial device used to chew cocoa leaves. This coin is made out of aluminum bronze, and at the bottom there it says Museo del Oro, which translates to the Gold Museum. So this was a device that you would find in the Gold Museum in Colombia. Next we have a couple of coins from Iran. This one is a 5 reals. And Arabic numbers are of course different than the numbers that I'm used to using. But the Iranian coins have a slightly different number system and slightly different date. A couple of their numbers are drawn different, where a 5 in most of the Arabian world would look like a circle or a raindrop. This one, it looks like an upside down heart. And then a couple of the numbers in the date are a little bit different, but it's also a slightly different calendar. So their calendar is 1367. On our Gregorian calendar, it's 1988, and this coin is catalog KM1234. And there's not a lot of going on here, just a lot of words that I would not be able to read, but this one highlights that it is a coin of the the Iranian Islamic Republic. So it has the country's name on here, surrounded by tulips. And as it turned out, I didn't have this coin, so glad to pick it up. This coin books for $1. Well, I thought I had that last coin. I didn't think I had this one, and I'm right, I didn't. This was just a year later, so our calendar 1989, their calendar 1368. This one is the 20 reals. And this one is catalog KM 1254.2. So there's some variations on this one. So the theme of this coin, it's the 8th anniversary of the Sacred Defense. 8th anniversary seems kind of weird, but it does have a couple of different dates on there highlighting the 8th anniversary. There are some variations here having to do with thickness, and so some of them are finer letters on here, some of them are thicker. And I think it's easier to tell on this side. I just had to go on Numista and pull up some pictures of the differences, but this is the finer version of the, on this version. Those are supposed to be shields that kind of go around the edge of this coin. There's 20 of them on here, but one of the varieties has 22. This coin has a book value of $2.50. I know I have this coin, but just for trade value, I always pick it up every time I can find it at a corner bin, which is fairly often, but this is the British £1 coin. This one is from 1985, and it features a Welsh leek. This coin was made in the years 1985 and 1990. At this time, they had a series where it had the monarch crown going through There were 4 different versions of the coin going through a plant from each of the 4 countries which make up the United Kingdom, and this one would be the Welsh leek. Catalog CAM 941 has a book value which is pretty much the foreign exchange value of $1.25. Another coin I pick up every time I see it is this 40% silver Swedish coin, 25 ore from 1946. I'll even pick up the 10 ore, just because these days I'm still surprised every time I find one. It's only 40%, but at $30 an ounce, this is 90 cents. And so I'm starting to stack up on these, I guess. But CAM 816, and it's worth the melt value of 90 cents. Oddly enough, the 10 ore is not proportional with the value, so it's not where it had 10 cents or 10 ore of silver, and the 25 had 25 ore of silver. It's about half the size, even though it was a lot smaller of a denomination. We're going to move on to a coin from Malawi. This one is the 1 Tambala from 1991. It's catalog number KM 7.2A. So a couple of varieties here. The A means that this version is copper-plated steel. The .2 means that there is an accent mark over the letter W in Malawi, so the original version of this coin was missing the accent mark right there. This coin was made from 1971 to 1994, and we flip it over, and it features a rooster. This might be the 3rd or 4th one of these I've picked up in about the last year, but I pick this up every time I see it just because this is my favorite obsolete coin, or obsolete currency of maybe any coin that I have. It was only made in 1940 in Panama, so it has Balboa on here, and it is a 1 1/4 centesimo, so 1 1/4 cents. Catalog number is KM15. This had to have been very unpopular because they only made it for 1 year, and they made the 2.5 centesimos for a lot longer. It was even made out of silver for a short while when it was the Panama pill, but it was made for copper nickel for a little bit. It just goes back to a time where you had goes back to the old Spanish system pieces of 8 reals, where 1 real, I guess, was about the size of 5 cents, I guess, and then you had the half real and the quarter real. So this would have been about the equivalent of a quarter real, I suppose. I guess that's what they were thinking here, but no one liked it. They stopped making it. If it was British, they probably would have just called it 1/80th of a Balboa and been done with it. But yeah, I like picking this one up. It has a catalog value of $2.50. We're going to move to a coin from Paraguay. This was a 10 Guarani. We have a cow on here, and at the top it says Alimentos para el Mundo. So this is an FAO coin, and so that roughly translates to food for the world. This coin is dated 1988, and I think I have the day wrong on that. Oh, it's 1988. So this coin was made from 1978 to 1988, but they also made it in 75 and 76 without the FAO message at the top. This one is catalog KM 167, and we flip it over. And it features General Eugenio Garay. Here is our next coin from Brazil. This one, simple design, has, I guess that's the coat of arms for Brazil on this side. We flip it over, and it's a pretty plain design with just the value on it, 5 cruzados. So again, we're looking at the Brazilian hyperinflation era. So it dated 1987. And this currency replaced the new Cruzeiro in 1986, so then you had the Cruzados, and then this was replaced by the new Cruzado in 1989. So This system only lasted for a couple of years. We'll feature another country that had some hyperinflation issues. This is from Argentina, so we see there the two hands holding a post with the Phrygian cap on the top and the sun above that. Simple design, but I like how they do it here. We flip it over. This one is a 500 Australs. This is a system that only lasted about 6 or 7 years in Argentina. And it's the Austral system because it has the A with the two horizontal lines going through it at the very top. And even then, it had different looking coins for a while. So the system ran from 1985 to 1992. And so for the first 3 years, 85 to 87, they only made centavos coins. And then starting in 1989, they made a 1, 5, and 10 Australs. And then as inflation got worse in 1990 and 91, they made 100, 500, and 1,000. And they're all similar to this design. The 100, the 500, the 1,000 all kind of look like this, but they keep getting bigger. This one's catalog KM79. Here's another coin that is new to my collection. I wish that it was better condition than this well-worn one, but this one is from Sudan. So we feature a camel with a man on top of it. This one's going to be a 5 Gersh, and it has a date on there, Arabic calendar 1376, our calendar 1956, and catalog number 34.1. So there is our 5 Gersh, and so this is considered the large 5. So it gets a catalog number 34.1, so the small 5 is 0.2. A Gersh is essentially equivalent to a piastre, which would be 1/100th of a pound. So there would be 20 of these to make one Sudanese pound. We're going to move to a coin from Poland. This one is from 1984. So they made a lot of subtle designs to the Polish coins. Some of that was based on the name of the country that goes around the edge, but the eagle had some slight redesigns over the years. I will go ahead and point out the mint mark, which is right here next to the talon, bottom of the talon right there. It's the letter M on top of the letter W from Mint Warsaw. It's going to be a 10 zloty, and this was the first 10 zloty coin that Poland made that was not a circulating commemorative coin. So up until this point, all their 10 zlotyks had a different person on them. This one's catalog KM152.1. Since it's 0.1, that means this is the 25 millimeter version, but which was made from 1984 to 1988. But after that was 0.2, where it was the reduced size 21.8 millimeters, and also made out of brass. We're going to move to the Netherlands Antilles, where we have this 2.5 cent coin. This denomination was made out of bronze until 1978, but then they started making it out of aluminum from 1979 until it was discontinued after 1985. This is from 1980, and it's catalog KM9A. A is the aluminum version. Here's where it says Netherlands Antilles, has the crown and some stars on it. One thing I do want to point out on here is we've got the caduceus for the kind of a mint mark, but also we have the mint master mark. So I'm going to kind of try and zoom in on here. We have a rooster with a tiny little star next to it. So in the Netherlands, each mint master had their own logo, which appeared on a coin. And so this specific mint master had the rooster, but when they were an acting mint master, I guess they didn't officially have the title yet, they added a little star to it. So the first year that this coin was made with this mint master, all of the coins had the rooster and star. But then the next year, the acting mint master star was removed. Now we're going to move on to a coin from the Netherlands. This one is a 1 gulden in 1980. And noteworthy that year from the Netherlands was the investiture of the new queen. Investiture is a word that I don't use in everyday language. That just essentially means when the new queen was installed. So the new queen here is Beatrix, who replaced Juliana. And so it has both of their portraits looking to the left on this coin. KM 200. So this is the 1 gold, and I also have the 2.5. There may be some others out of this set. Our next Brazilian hyperinflation coin. This one has the same reverse as the last Brazilian coin we looked at, but it was from a different monetary system. That previous one was the Cruzado, but this one is the Cruzeiros. And there was the new Cruzeiros, the new version, which went between them. But this 100 Cruzeiros is made in 1985. It's catalog KM 595. And you'd think these would be pretty common, but I actually didn't have it. These were only made in 1985 and 86. And there are also a 200 and a 500 from this short time period. We're going to move to a coin from Nicaragua. A lot of their coins have this triangle at the bottom, the 5 mountains, with I guess the radiant Phrygian cap there above it. It says the Central Bank of Nicaragua. It's a 50 centavos of a Cordoba from 1994. In the background is a map of the country of Nicaragua. And on top of that is a bird. At least the catalog just calls it a bird. To me, that looks like a peace dove. It has a little, perhaps an olive branch in its mouth. So this one is also has a medal of chrome-plated steel. So you don't see a lot of chrome-plated coins a lot. When I think of those, I think of some of the 1940s or 50s Canadian 5-cent pieces, but this one is catalog number KM83, and this is a currency that's still in use, so it has a foreign exchange value of 1.4 United States cents. Now we've got a coin from Suriname. This one's going to be a 1-cent coin from 1962 with the catalog number of KM11. We flip it over, and this is still a time where they were controlled by the Netherlands. And like some of those other Netherlands coins we've seen, we've got the caduceus symbol right here. That is the staff with 2 snakes going around with wings at the very top. And since we were talking about Mintmaster mint marks, there is a fish mint mark there above the sea. So this was the first year this coin was made in 1962. They made it with bronze to 1972, and then later they made it out of aluminum and then copper-plated steel. Now we're going to move on to a couple of coins from Denmark. So this one's dated 1943. It has the monogram of Christian X with a crown above it. King of Denmark around the edge. This coin is made out of zinc, so zinc coins can get kind of gross. They turn black and then they turn white after that. This one is a 2-ore, and as it turns out, I didn't have this one, so another good pickup for me. All these other coins that I picked up were either meant to be upgrades to my collection or to go into my trade pile. But this coin, made in 1943, it was made out of aluminum for 1 year in 1941. Then it was made for zinc the rest of the time, 1942 to 1947. So it has a catalog number of KM 883A. But we've got one more zinc coin from Denmark from about the same time. Again, we have the Christian X monogram. We've got the heart mint mark on this one, 1944, the date. This design had lasted a little bit longer. So this was a coin that was minted out of copper nickel starting in 1924. They made it out of zinc from 1941 to 1945, and then it went back to copper nickel just for a couple of years, 1946 to 1947. So this one has a catalog number of KM 822.2A. We're going to move to a coin from Österreich, or Austria. This coin features, it's supposed to be a woman from Tyrol wearing a hat and in front of some mountains. This coin was made in 1925, but there was a coin made during World War I that was a little bit different from a different currency that still had a different design, but I flip it over. This one's 10 groschen, and that previous one was like 1,000 of something. But catalog number here is KM 2838. When I was reading the catalog in this one, it said that it features alternating gentian and Edelweiss flowers. And it made me think that I've always heard the term Edelweiss because of the Sound of Music soundtrack. Growing up, we did that play in high school, and I've always heard people singing the song Edelweiss, and it occurred to me I didn't even know what an Edelweiss was. I had no idea that it was a flower, but yeah, clean and white, well, okay, you've got a white flower. So you Google Edelweiss, it'll be a white flower, and so that's some of the flowers that go around the tin on this coin. So you learn something new every day. Edelweiss is a flower. So our last coin that came from the 25-cent bin, it's going to be an Italian 200 lira coin. This was a design that's pretty standard, but a lot of them are commemoratives. This one is no different. Features the Arma dei Carabinieri, which is essentially the Italian military police force. And this is kind of a weird centennial here, but it's 1814 to 1994. So that is the 180th anniversary of the Carabinieri. It also has 180 in Roman numerals there underneath the, in the middle where it says CLXXX. And I believe that symbol there is the I over the R for Italy, is supposed to be on a grenade. And so it shows smoke or fire coming out of the middle of that grenade. So this one is has a book value of $1.35. So far, just going through all the coins that we've looked at, there are 26 coins here. And just because I like to add it up as I go, there are, I paid, it was 4 for $1. There were 26, so he charged me $6, so he gave me a couple of them for free. And since I like to add up the book value of all that, we come to a grand total of book value $16.80, which I find fun just every time I add that up. But like I said, I did pick up a couple of carded coins. This first one cost me $3, and when I saw it, I thought to myself, I don't know if this is real or fake. It almost certainly is fake, but if this is real, it's worth a lot of money. So it turns out it was fake. But I still think it's an interesting piece. If I knew for sure it was fake, I probably wouldn't have paid $3 for it, but yeah, I was taking the chance on it. So this is a replica of a coin that apparently never really existed from China, because we've got the Chinese dragon on here. But it would have come from an era where there were different Chinese provinces made their own currency. So this would have been from the Shanxi province. And it features, at the bottom it says 7 mace and 2 Candareens, which seems like a weird denomination on here, but a mace is a weight and a Candareen is a denomination. So 7 mace, I don't know how many kilograms or grams that's supposed to represent, but 2 Candareens makes $1. And so China at the time used the dollar just like America had a silver dollar, which was about, the U.S. had a dollar, Britain had a crown, and so a lot of countries had a large silver coin about this size. If this was a legit coin, those dates are not real, not relevant to anything here. But again, this is a fantasy piece. If it was a coin for general issue through the entire empire, there would be essentially nothing in the middle of these 4 characters. This would just be a blank space where those little tiny characters are, but the tiny characters would represent essentially a mint mark on here. So, fun piece, and you can tell that it's not made out of silver because this coin is magnetic. If it was not magnetic, silver coins are not magnetic, so it sticks to my magnet here. So, not silver. But this last coin, I think, was really special and definitely worth what I paid for it, even though I overpaid compared to what the book value says for this coin. But it's such a rare place. So this flip says Indonesia on it, 1962. I don't even think the catalog number on here is right. But let's take a look at it. And there aren't that many Indonesian coins. I pretty much have multiples of all of them, but this one's a little bit different. First of all, it features President Muhammad Sukarno. On this side, it says Republic Indonesia on the top. We flip it over, it says 1 sen from 1962. But this is not just any Indonesian coin. This is a coin where, for a short while, they decided that they were going to make specific coins for regions or territories of Indonesia. And this specific coin was intended to be circulating only in Irian Barat, which was the name of that region has changed, but essentially today we would know this as the western half of the island of New Guinea. So the country of New Guinea, Papua New Guinea, is what we think of Papua New Guinea is the eastern half of that island. The western half of the New Guinea island belongs to Indonesia. So in the 1960s they called it Irian Barat. Later they named it Irian Jaya. So this coin was meant to issue there. Now it had a date of 1962 on it, but it was actually issued in 1964 and was used until 1971. But there's one other thing to look out for. There is a second version of this coin. It doesn't say Irian Barat anywhere on here, but there's another version of the coin where if you look at the edge, the coin on this edge is smooth, so you're not going to see anything. But there's another version of the coin that has the letters RIAU inscribed on it. That stands for the Riau Archipelago, which was another region of Indonesia that was going to have their own regional currency as well. The coins were essentially identical, except those had Riau stamped on it. Those were also produced in 1962, issued in 1964, but then recalled at the end of 1964, making them used even a shorter period of time. Now, I had one of those, but I did not have anything from Irian Barat. So this is going to be a new country for my collection, and I think that's about, or when I say country, its own region that makes its own coins. So this is number something like 293 different coin producing places that I have a coin from. So always happy to find one of these. So the catalog value on this was only about $1.50, but Numista says just based on the rarity of it, it should go for $3.50. So I thought that was neat, and that's kind of a fun way of ending this video, just to find something from this. I found these to be really rare over the year. The coin that I found from Riau was a long time ago, so it's been a while since I've picked up another one. All right, that's all for today. I've got more coins that I picked up from that show and more recent shows in my favorite coin shop, and so we've got more videos coming down the pike. I'll catch you next time. Bye.